Hello, Angel. Hello, Ash.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad at all. There must be a big delay between you and me. I ask a question and 10 seconds later you answer.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just doing something.
Oh, okay. No problem. You go ahead.
Morning, guys.
Hey, bud.
How you doing?
Um, I'm a rooted unit.
What's a rooted unit?
Oh, I'm buggered.
Oh yeah, me too, mate. Do you know what? I was up at 2 this morning. I just couldn't sleep.
That's when I
So I
go
got up
to
at
bed.
yeah, well, I got up at 2 and I was up till 4, and then I went to sleep. And I've literally just woken up now, so I don't know.
Oh, no.
I haven't been on camera yet, so I'm probably not looking the best.
So you're right on top of it. Beautiful.
Oh yeah, not at all, not at all.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll get through. No problems at all. Oh, you can have a day. You can have a day off
No
after
worries,
this one,
Angel.
mate.
That I will do.
Heidi ho, everyone, and welcome aboard. It is tremendous Tuesday, terrific Tuesday. Trying to think of a word that goes with Tuesday. It's always manic Monday, and it's always fabulous Friday, thumping Thursday, wonderful Wednesday. I can't get a Tuesday thing going.
Well, it
Ash,
depends
help me out,
on
buddy.
well, if it's a good one, it can be tremendous. If it's a bad one, we might have to call it Terrible Tuesday. We'll see by the end of the day. We'll name it.
Teeter totter Tuesday then.
Yeah.
One or t'other. Righto, what's this pound going to do today, guys? Let's see if we can work out a solution here to a breakout trade. I've got an order in the market. I'll share that with you a little bit later. Pound, that'd be that thing there, wouldn't it? Yep. All right, hourly chart. Let's see what's going down. I think the pound's had a bit of a rally today, hasn't it? No, not against the dollar. It's absolutely going sideways, doing nothing.
Yeah.
Has against the
Same
Kiwi.
again.
The Kiwi's a bit on the nose today, which is a good thing for me because I'm exposed to it a couple of times. I think we're now safe in the market against all of the Kiwi pairs, which is a cool thing to be. Righto, we need Kumar's little EA going here. Wonder when Kumar's coming back.
Yeah,
Right.
gone AWOL.
He has. He's working hard, I believe. Oh, we've got a clear range here today, in absolutely clear little box range that we're going to break out of, hopefully. We can go long today above the daily pivots. We can go short, so nothing to hold us back. The long order will be at 129 now. I'm not going to get. I'm going to get a little bit manipulative here. I'm going to go about 4 pips above here. I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to because this is a trap as far as I can see. 129.61 is going to be the entry for the long. So it's a buy at 121.61. That doesn't make sense. 129.61. Yeah, that's better. I wish we did get long at 121.61. That'd be cool.
So I'm going to put this in as well, mate.
Stop loss will be 129.37. TP1. What's our risk? Our risk is.
Is this the buy? Sorry, mate. This is the buy, isn't it? Yeah,
This is the
I've got
buy,
it.
yeah.
I see it.
The risk is 24 pips. So our TP1 will be 12, which will make it 129.73. And TP2 will be double our risk, which once again was 24, so 48. It'll be 130.09. 1.3009. Did you get all those, mate?
No, I will see them when you put them on the big screen.
Okay.
Oh, there they are. Yeah, I've got them. Yeah, okay, bye.
Right. In terms of the order, the sell will be the reverse of the buy because we're actually trading only one bar today. One bar covers the whole range of the last three. So that is where we will go. So we're selling at 129.37. Our stop loss is at 129.61. TP1 will be 12 below there, 129.25. And TP2 will be 48 pips below there, which is 129.91. No, that's not right. 48. So that's 11 off 89. 129.89. Okay, that should all make sense. Now, don't place those orders right now because we've got still a few seconds to go. I think you can place the long if you want. That'd be pretty safe. You can at least set it up. So long at 129.61. $1.2961 with the stop loss 1.2937. Okay, there we go. And we'll place the short. And again, the short is the reverse of the long, but only for today. That's a buy, not a sell. 129.37 and 129.61. All right, we are good to go. Spectrum is green.
Yeah, market is just literally just opened up. As I can see
anything?
here.
Oh,
Not yet, mate. No. We can talk about the FTSE actually. Obviously a massive day yesterday to the downside. Well, not massive, but relatively speaking, a pretty big sell-off yesterday. So I think the FTSE. Let me just take the screen here. I'm just going to do the work here. We probably do need to go with the continue to go with the trend here. And the trend obviously looks like it has broken to the downside. So looks like that weekly pivot to me. Let's just have a quick look at it.
Well, that first bar did reverse, didn't it, yesterday?
Yeah, massively, and then it just a big drift to the downside. You know, the difficult thing is that we've got the potential for that deal being announced today. You know, as far as I'm aware, I think Pelosi put today on as the deadline for the deal between the Democrats and the Republicans to be done on that relief package. So there we go. So will it continue to fall from this particular point? I don't think it would. And it might make it a little bit dangerous. You know, just trading it either way. What would be quite good is if it can push into this area just before the US session, and then we can make a better judgment call. Let's just do let's run the trend line down here. Looks like it's around about there. Now that does look like the sweet spot is the weekly pivot. So I think we're looking at the weekly pivot as our entry, and we'll be looking to enter. Sorry, to grab that area down there. Now let's just see if that would be the stop.
I just saw an ad before us. There's an ad before us.
What for us?
We must have hit the big time.
Oh, no. That's good.
No, it wasn't for us. It was actually for eToro.
Oh. Oh well, that might be a positive. Let's have a look. Right then, so what I'm going to look to do is enter on the weekly pivot, enter on the weekly pivot, and then take profit down here at 57.77. So looks like 59.09 is the entry. Looks like it could be. Yeah, we could maybe we just we'll put the stop just a little bit above this particular spike here, so we could get a potential 2-to-1, and half off here would be the strategy here rather than anywhere before, because we'd want to make sure that there was enough room for us to take profit. So I'm going to write these numbers in as well.
Alan, that's fantastic news, mate. Good on you. All power to you, buddy. That's exactly what we want to hear.
Oh, I haven't read that. What was that? Stop loss is going to be up at 59.60. And TP1, and with the rest of it, I'll just look to trail down if it does break down 57.77. Now, I wouldn't worry about this going down early doors, because what I suspect is more likely to happen is if this does go down first instead, then I think the bounce is on. So we'll probably look to go long here, before the US Open. I just don't see this breaking down until we get some absolute clarity. It appears that deal isn't coming. And that's what's spooking traders right now. But there's no announcement on that yet. So if it does break down, then I'll look to go long. If the deal looks like it could happen, that is, if it's looking like it's absolutely off, then there won't be any longs initiated here. But what would be better is if it just had a little boost to the upside. We can take the short on there. We'll put the stop loss at the highs. And then look for this one to start coming down, and then just start moving our stop loss in a little bit closer before the US Open. So the idea at 59.04 is going to be the key here, really, and that's going to be around about a 55 point stop loss and a 125 point take profit area. So that's the plan, mate. That's the plan. We'll see if it materializes.
Hey, we had good news.
Did we now?
Over the weekend, actually, yes. Did you know you're an uncle?
I did. No, I did. What, with Chloe?
Yeah, Chloe had a baby boy.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. I saw it on the on Telegram group.
Oh, I'm surprised Chloe didn't text me. Okay, well, I better. Oh, I can't ring her yet then. I'll send her a text later on.
She'll be awake. She'll have a baby on board at the moment, I would imagine.
Oh, that is fantastic news.
Yeah, great, eh?
Yeah.
Hey,
Max.
Yep, Maximilian.
Good name. Solid.
Max, anyway. Solid.
Good name, yeah.
Yeah, oh no, I won't go there. I was going to say it's better than, but there might be one of those listening. So. I'll put my foot in my mouth again.
I can see that.
Yeah, so it's party time. I'll have a drink tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
I think wet the baby's head.
I was going to say, yeah. For once, we actually have an excuse. So
it's a day that ends in Y as well.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, mate. Well, that's our that's our plan with the FTSE. And in actual fact, I'll write that into the journal as well.
We have been triggered short on the pound. TP1 is 29.25. So we've got about 9 pips to go before we take profit here, guys.
Okay. Oops. FTSE 100. And there's a FTSE 100 yesterday as well. Okay. Right, what's the it's the 20th, isn't it? There we go. 10, 20. Right, I'll just write these levels in really fast. So 59.03 is the entry, 59.60 is the stop, and 57.77 is take profit 1. There we go. I'll do the skeleton, and then I'll fix that up a bit more later on. Right. So yeah, as I say, mate, yesterday we did have a pretty big move to the downside in the end, and it meant that from what looked like a risk on session turned into a risk off session very, very quickly. And we saw the Aussie started to move to the downside, and the Aussie dollar as well. So the Aussie pairs were moving lower. Now, what was going on with the yen? Because we didn't really check those out fully. It looks like yesterday it had a pretty good day, so risk was well and truly off the table. VIX had a big jump to the upside as well yesterday. This is the Swissy yen. I can get it in properly. There we go. Oh, yeah, massive jump to the upside with the Swissy yen. So it looks like the Swissy was the safe haven.
Take profit 1, guys. Take profit 1 on the pound.
Oh, nice work, mate.
And I got it at 23.5. So let's call that pretty much with the spreads exactly where it needed to be. So 129. We move our stops 12 pips above entry, which will be 129.49. So your stops need to be there right now. 129.49.
You get that, Alan? What Jeff's doing?
All good.
That's right, isn't it? You move the stop to entry. That's right, isn't it?
No, you move your stops 12 pips. Whatever you took at TP1, which was 12. You move your stops 12 pips from entry. So 12 pips above entry in this case.
So either way, we got there's a break even.
Yes, can't lose.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, pound looks pretty weak, doesn't it today? With the where the daily pivot is in comparison to the pound.
Look, it does. It had a little bit of a rally against the Kiwi, which was the only one I was really interested in. But the pound, go back to Euro pound, and just hang on, I'm just managing that trade. Euro pound, I have moved my stops to entry on that one, so we are now winners only. We have taken profit on that, of course, and I have also tightened my stops on which one? Pound Kiwi. Yeah, okay. So pound Kiwi, I can't remember what the TP1 was. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Sometimes you just get it spot on, and other times you get it spot off. And I did it twice in a row. Pound Kiwi, I moved my TP1 to DR2. And of course, it smashed through that and hit the original TP1. So either way, you guys would have got a TP1 on pound Kiwi on the H4. That's the one we took in. Actually, you guys may not be in it. We took that in the US session last night. Euro CAD was not one. Yeah, I'm considering that one. What was the other one? Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD has smashed through TP1 also, and that looks bearish, I'd have to say. But guess what we did? We bought back half of that position just above break even last night, and now of course it's just catapulted to the downside, which is where we saw it going in the first place. So if you weren't in the US session last night, you still got your 0.5% on Kiwi CAD, but I bought half of it back just above break even there, and we sacrificed 0.04%. But worse than that now, we're sacrificing profit as it goes south. Guess what? Can't go broke banking money, guys.
Yeah, that's all fine, isn't it? With this euro pound, you can see on the daily that it's testing that upper level, and where this is a sell zone. You know, normally we'd be looking at this and saying this is a selling opportunity, but with the given the situation now with the pound and the UK and Brexit, it doesn't look, or it doesn't appear at this stage that they're going to shift. So the moves at the as we speak right now is for a no deal. no deal Brexit. That's the mood right now. And I listened to the House of Commons yesterday and some of the speeches in the House of Commons yesterday, and it was not good, to kind of like, hear what they were all suggesting and what they were all doing. It wasn't a good listen. It does appear that we are heading for a no deal at this particular stage. Now, of course, things change very, very quickly, and they probably will. In truth, the UK government going into a no deal situation, it would seem to me like suicide, and I just can't see it happening. But that doesn't mean it won't happen. As I said yesterday, Boris Johnson's a maverick, and he does things his own way. So you just never know with a prime minister like this. It appeared like he was playing hardball. Like that's the way it looks like. He's playing hardball, but he's playing a very, very dangerous game now. So the pound's buy, if we are going to buy the pound, sorry, if we are going to buy the euro versus the pound, then we've simply got to wait for an ABC where the A is going to need to go through, and we're going to need the B pull back, and then we can try and trade on the C back to the upside again. What would make it come back, I don't know, but I guess some more whispers. But at this stage, the sell opportunity just isn't. It just doesn't appear to be likely, at this stage that we've got a selling opportunity, even though it is in a sell zone, and it wouldn't matter what the chart did at this stage. It can break down and start to look like we're moving down. We're giving us some sort of lower high here. You could think about the pattern. Some sort of lower high here would suggest that maybe this is breaking down. Maybe that's a buying opportunity. If it doesn't break through straight away, maybe the buying opportunity in the euro pound is on the monthly pivot. Likely, probably anyway, that there's a likelihood it doesn't break through straight away. So if we do want to pick this up to the long side, maybe the monthly pivot, daily pivot, or weekly pivot would be the area. So that's that one pops down again. There might be a buying opportunity, and I don't usually like trading right into a resistance point, but when it comes down to the news from the pound, that looks like the most likely outcome for a period. We've got until the end of the year. The EU have come out and said that they will be quite willing to intensify the negotiations and the talks, and the UK government has balked at that particular suggestion. So it doesn't look like they're going to be moving anywhere near the EU at this particular stage. And on top of that, last night, Michael Gove, one of the quite important ministers in this whole thing, was cross-examined by Theresa May, obviously the former prime minister, and Theresa May was kind of saying, how far away they are, and how much more likely it looks like that they're not going to get a deal, and how dangerous it's going to be for security specifically. Michael Gove really just reiterated some of the words that she used during the whole campaign, saying, yes, it would be dangerous, but as we know, what would be more dangerous is to have a bad deal, because a bad deal is worse than, no deal is better than a bad deal, which is what she kept saying all the time. So
you'd have to imagine that she's feeling a little bit vindicated, wouldn't you, at this point? Or certainly a little bit more at ease. Because
yeah,
she really copped it. She
well,
copped
do you know what? She took a very, very tough situation, and tried to do what she did, and she was close. She was close to getting a deal. I think the EU underestimated what could have happened. If they'd just given her a deal, I think they underestimated the fact that not giving her a deal would have ended up like this, because if they'd made a decent judgment call that Boris Johnson would be back, they may well have chosen to give her a deal in the first place, which would have been the right thing to do.
5
years
down the track, man.
Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah, it is. It's astonishing, really, isn't it? How long this has taken, and the hardship that both nations will go through as well. Sorry, both regions will go through. And then we've got independence. You know, the chance of Scottish independence is another blot on the landscape, and how the UK government managed now to navigate that. So there's a lot to come, mate. If we do get out of the EU, I think we could see the pound significantly weaker in the course of the next 5 to 10 years. You know, we talked about the last 5 years, and where is the pound from the last 5 years? Well, if we look at it against the euro, this is the pre-Brexit, if you like. Price comes up, price comes back. So that's where it is pre-Brexit. Sorry, post-Brexit. Now, if we don't get the deal, we're likely to get it up here and potentially beyond, because, as I say, if the UK doesn't get a deal, the next thing that's likely to happen is another push for Scottish independence, and you could look right across the board with the pound to see what the effect has been. This is interesting, actually, against the Aussie. At one point, in March this year, just before the pandemic, actually, or just before the pandemic really started to hit the markets, the pound was actually stronger than pre Brexit election, which is something that I didn't think I'd see against any of these currencies.
It was what? Sorry.
It was stronger against the Aussie.
Yeah.
Than it was pre Brexit. Which you can't say. So the Aussie was very, very weak at the start of this year, wasn't it? That's the key that I'm getting here.
Yeah, it's been on a tumble for a while. It did rally at some stage, but yeah, it's now. And there's a word that starts with W. I'm hesitating to say it, but it appears I could be.
You could be wrong about the Aussie.
Well, no, I'm not giving. No, I'm not giving up. I read the minutes today, and whilst I wasn't vindicated in my thought process, I don't think I was disproven either. So I'm hanging in there. I still think it's got a bit of an upside in it somewhere.
Okay,
just got to wait for the right moment.
Yeah. Well, it's coming down to that level now where it could get a bounce, I suppose.
Well, it's certainly copped hiding. There's no doubt about that. But interestingly, the Kiwi has also come off big time. Compared.
Well, I suppose.
And I must have words with Paul Bottrell and Julian, who told me it was going to rally.
What's that? The Kiwi?
Yeah, that's not a rally.
No, it doesn't look like a rally right now, does it?
No.
I mean, I think, do you know what? Interestingly, well, let's have a look at the Kiwi. So, the pound is, the Kiwi pound, the Kiwi CAD is down. The Kiwi Swissy is way down. The Swissy still manages to be the Swissy's the one to try and grab. I would have thought, if we are in this risk-off environment and we compare the Swissy to the yen, and the Swissy has managed to push, to the point that it has pushed to, it kind of makes it obvious that the Swissy is the currency of choice right now to try and grab. There may well be an opportunity, if rather than looking at the euro pound, the Swissy versus the pound looks pretty good and not too far away either from breakout. Potentially, this horizontal level looks to be around about the 1.1786 level.
Swissy had a day out yesterday.
It had a day out. Yeah, it was strengthening. Yeah, it did, and I don't see why that wouldn't continue. Considering the environment appears to be risk off, and it does seem to be because of this potential no stimulus package that we have.
But that was today, and yes, it's yesterday started risk on. Day before was risk on, I think. Again, it's Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, it's a bit.
It's risk on, risk off. Depends on what day it is. Look at euro pound, and I said it. When was that? Friday, Monday, Thursday, I don't know, whatever day. It's like piano, one black key, one white key. It's just all over the place. And that chart's no different,
Sorry,
Perfect
Crystal.
range. Love the range. Gorgeous.
What on the pound Swissy here?
Mm.
Crystal's asking any comments on Kanzuk. What's Kanzuk?
Kanzuk. No. Maybe it's.
Could you expand on that, Crystal? We potentially would have it if it's.
Yes, Alan, I want to buy the Aussie at some stage. Not right now, but very soon.
Yeah, market's actually a little bit quiet. Relatively speaking to yesterday, we did have a push down from the daily pivot on the FTSE, but it's relatively quiet. It's probably going to be waiting for that news and data. That doesn't mean I don't think we drift. I think we probably are more likely to drift higher, but I wouldn't put any money on that. What's the dollar Swissy doing? So dollar Swissy pushing right. So it really is in a dangerous spot, the dollar, isn't it, against the other basket of currencies, and particularly against this Swissy. Now we've got this this dollar index just showing us some genuine weakness here.
It's under pressure. Yeah,
it's under a lot of pressure. Yeah, under a lot of pressure. Well, I don't really have too much, mate. It looks to me like a day that's not a day, but a session that we just have to let it unfold for a little while. I'm going to be watching this FTSE for a short, but the FTSE does need to push into that weekly pivot for me to be anywhere near interested. I'm not interested at the daily pivot. It's just a little bit too. It would be a little bit too expensive, in my opinion, at that point, because we wouldn't have enough room to aim for the downside. And I think there's a chance that it does pop up. So I'm going to look for that weekly pivot for an entry on the day. But if it doesn't come, then I might be just waiting until the market comes back down again to look at it as a buying opportunity, which ultimately it will become. While the market is moving down here, it doesn't really trouble me too much, because really I still want the long. I think the Nasdaq might be the one that would be. It would have to be reassessed, the Nasdaq, because I wonder whether Biden might well go after some of these big tech companies, and where the Nasdaq has been obviously the outperformer of 2020 year to date. Will it be 2021? And that's really almost in the point that we are starting to look at. What's going to be the big thing of 2021? Oh, okay. It's a possible trade. Canada, Australia, the Kiwi, and the UK. A trade deal. Now, I haven't heard about this. I've got to be honest, Crystal. So I can't comment on it. I will have to look into it. If the UK are involved, I think I've heard something vaguely being mentioned by government, but it has been very muted. Certainly over here, that hasn't really been mentioned very much. So it was one of those things that I think I heard in Parliament mentioned and then not discussed in any detail, which suggests it's probably quite a long way away.
Interesting prospect, because, yeah, I wonder what Canada has got that Australia and New Zealand don't have. Certainly the UK, they don't have the resources that those three countries do. Interesting.
Yes, it is interesting. Yeah, that is interesting, mate. I mean, this is it could be healthcare, it could be law. I suppose there's other, there might be a specific service industry. I'll tell you one thing that Canada does have is access to America. Easier access to America. So maybe that's part of the reason that they might be involved in it. It would be good for the UK, certainly, to do some trade deal to try and replace what's been going on with the EU. Yeah, and the US election, Shikra, you're right. The US election on the 3rd of November. So we're not even 2 weeks away anymore.
No.
Euro pound thoughts, Crystal's asking.
Euro yen thoughts? Yeah, look,
Euro yen, sorry. Yeah, Euro yen.
I've got an order in the market. I'll share that with you in a bit.
Fantastic. Actually, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks today, isn't it? 2 weeks today, US election.
Is it?
Yeah, so the clock really is ticking. Monday for you, is it? It's Tuesday for me.
No, for them.
For them, Monday for them. Yeah.
Why? That's crazy. No wonder no one votes.
Yeah.
They're all at work or at McDonald's. Why the hell
Yeah.
would they? Why the hell would they be going to vote?
Well, they need a McDonald's station just outside the poll, and then they'll be all right.
Well, I'm sure they've got one on most our corners.
They probably do. They probably do. I'm sure there's an opportunity there for somebody.
Is it really? It can't be on a Monday.
Tuesday. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's the 3rd, isn't it? So that's the Tuesday here.
I know they're backward, but really, that's crazy. Why would you put?
I think our elections are in the week as well. We have to go at the end of your working day.
Really?
Hmm.
And you're non-compulsory as well, right?
Yes, which is a bit. I think that every election should be compulsory, in my opinion.
Go figure. They've got this horribly wrong. I'm sorry. You should put this on a Saturday or a Sunday, so those who actually can vote will vote.
Yeah.
So if it's not compulsory and you put an obstacle in the way, like work or travel on the roads, or what, come on.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people have done postal votes anyway, and certainly.
Oh, they can do that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. There's been a lot vote already in the US elections.
Yes, there has. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they pretty much know what the result is.
Ooh. Insider trading.
Oh, interesting. So Shukri's saying tonight, Larry Williams says if Trump gets re-elected, it's bullish for an average of 84 days, 84 trading days. I'm guessing that is so into 4 months almost.
84 days. 84 days is 4 months. 84 trading days is 4 months, which is more than 100 days. So they have a 100-day report card, don't they?
Yes.
The first 100 days. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. So markets could be bullish or bearish. Yeah. It's anybody's guess, isn't it? Right now, anybody's guess, mate. Just got to make sure you're protected. That's the main thing here.
It should be, Brian. I agree. Compulsory voting should be there. I mean, it's just crazy not to have it because it's so manipulative. I mean, you can pay people to vote. Come on, seriously. No wonder the elections are rigged. Gee whiz. Anyway, that's not my cup of tea. But absolutely, we're so close, and there's all of this coming to a climax, if you like. Brexit's coming to a climax. Trump's second term potential is coming to a climax. All I can say is praise the Lord. Thank God for that. Because, although I'm sure we'll find something else apart from Brexit, apart from COVID-19, there'll be something else coming up. There always is.
Could be a pretty quiet period, couldn't it, mate?
You wouldn't really think it can be as major as both of those two things.
No.
If we get rid of Trump, you would imagine that trade wars will settle down. You would imagine that racial, it's hard to call that one, unrest would calm down a little bit. I would imagine those sorts of things in the States, which of course filters back to everybody at the end.
Well, absolutely right. Do you know that the big challenge then is going to be how if it's a Biden win, let's assume it's a Biden win we're talking about here, and the UK has left the EU. It's going to be what's the process after those events? How does America genuinely rebuild? Is there going to be a green push? And I think there will. I've got a couple of I've got a position on a hydrogen energy company, because I think there could be a green push kind of coming. And it's a little bit of a play, with a Biden thing, but it's also a bit of a play globally and environmentally, because I think that could potentially be the story of 2021. And that's what I'm kind of now starting to think of. What is the story of 2021? If tech was the story of 2020, Biden gets in. Does he go after the big tech companies? Does he start pushing more for infrastructure? Does he start pushing more for environmental infrastructure? Does the UK leave the EU without a deal? Does Scotland break away from the UK because of it? What's Boris Johnson's play going to be on infrastructure and pushing for new energy? How is he going to rebuild this economy? So you potentially got two economies that will have to grow again. I mean, the US is going to have to grow again, will grow again in a different way because they've got a new head at the helm. And sorry, the US will have a new head at the helm, and the UK will be growing again because it will be in uncharted waters, and they're going to have to re-navigate and renegotiate some deals against some other nations. And as Crystal says, it might be with Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. So it might be slightly calmer. We won't be getting the tweet fest that we've been seeing for the last 4 years, but I'm sure that there will be still opportunities and volatility in the market, but just in areas that may not be as apparent as we have seen, of late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, in many ways, don't want to see the end of Trump. I really don't, from an entertainment point of view. But that's a bit selfish, I think. I'm just not sure the world's better off without him either, because he does get shit done.
Well, do you know, mate? I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I don't really know enough about American politics to have a really informed opinion on that. My biggest concern is the situation with Russia and the situation with China, and I suspect Trump is probably going to be harder on both those two regions than anybody else, because there's no doubt that those two regions do have an edge that could be quite dangerous for the broader world, in the way that they go about things. So, and I fully
think Russia
respect
more
China.
so than China.
I agree. I mean, I fully respect China, and I fully respect sort of like what they've done. But there's certain things that where just every now and again we just get a certain news thing where it's like some information has been infiltrated or but you're right. I mean, there's no doubt Russia have taken planes over other countries' airspace. Very antagonistically. They seem quite happy to poison certain people that oppose Vladimir Putin, as we saw with was it the Novotny case quite recently, and there's a catalogue of things that we always hear about with Russia. Whether they want to meddle in Brexit or the European Union and all this sort of thing. But I think China has its part to play in security as well. So
I think China's more an economic philosopher than Russia. Russia's a muscle person, or Russia.
Yes, very, very true. Yeah, which I'm all right with. I mean, you've got to have a change of the guard eventually. Every single nation, won't last forever, as we've seen right the way back from Roman times. So if America's had its time in the sun, that's absolutely fine with me. And if it's China that's next up, then again, I'll be absolutely fine with that, because there's certain things about the Chinese system I think that they've been proven to be the right way to do things. But it's a difficult one. I think there's just some dangerous players out there, and China are quite pally with Russia, and North Korea.
Not a bad trifecta, is it?
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Look out. Righto. I should talk about Euro Yen, I think, because there was a question there.
Yes.
You're done
let's
with
do that.
charts, mate,
Yeah.
Okay. Righto, Euro Yen. I do have an order short Euro Yen on the 4-hour chart, and it is basically trading that bar there, which of course is one of my pet things. The bigger picture is not necessarily conducive to that. Well, actually, it's more the micro pictures than the bigger picture. The bigger picture I like the bigger picture. The bigger picture, of course, hang on, let's get rid of this so you can actually see it. So I've got two orders there if you want to have a look at them. The bigger picture is actually quite clear to me. And, I've pointed this out 100 times, I'm sure. So at the risk of repeating myself and on a repetition of myself, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline break, neckline retest, false break of the neckline, back retest or back under retest the monthly pivot to boot. The problem area, of course, is in the shorter time frames, which is representative of the daily pivot and the weekly pivot. That's the break and retest of the monthly pivot that we've seen. And that constitutes, for me, a significant lower high, that candle there. Now, we have had a fair bit of price action since, of course, not least of which was the gap down. What's that? Was that this morning? That was this morning, yeah. Don't ask me why. I got no idea. No, got nothing. But significantly, in my humble opinion, 3 4-hour candles will make that 4 4-hour candles to this point, and this one's got, what, an hour and a half to go, have not been able to breach the monthly pivot again. So my position remains intact, or my bias remains intact, and that candle is the one that I'm trading. But that said, I'm not prepared to trade the bottom of that candle. I have to go to the bottom here. Now, this becomes high risk because we're trading straight into an untested daily pivot. Now, that's something I will not do on a 30-minute chart or an hourly chart, but I'm prepared to do it at low risk, low stake, let me put it that way, on a 4-hour chart, because we've got far more room for, I won't say error, for retracement is the word I'm looking for. So if we do bounce off the daily pivot and we get a bounce back to here, no big deal. But if we did that on a 30-minute chart, we'd be out and gone. So that's the 4-hour trade, trading that bar there. And they are the levels. 123.98 is the sell. 124.51 is the stop loss. And I've got that above this little range here that, of course, has been broken. And that, I think, is probably the most strategic place I can put that. And TP1 we're taking at 123.84, which is very tight, I've got to say. We're only, 14 pips versus 53 of risk. So it is very, very tight. Now, guys, I've got to explain to you, I've had a big rethink on how I manage trades. And it was brought about by pretty much Shukri. He's given me a bit of a shake. And he's going to explain that to you later in the UK session. And what I mean by a bit of a shake is he's been having a look at the strategy and trading the strategy. But he's been adding his own little dose of Shukriness to it, if I can say that. And he's come up with a pretty good record on what we've been trading to date in the last, 2 or 3 months or something. And I'm not sure when he's applied this little amendment from. But it brought me back to the fact over the last, I would say, probably 2 to 3 months, we've been picking the right entry, no problem. We're getting plenty of TP1s, no problem. But the market's not giving us follow through. And I've been saying this for ages and I've done nothing about it. Well, it's time I did do something about it. So I'm now tightening everything up so that we can take a little bit more profit rather than watch our TP1 get hit, then slowly drift towards TP2 only to turn around and we come back and we either hit our entry or our trailing stop, whatever the case may be. I think there's a better way to do that. And it's the original strategy, right? And it is all about taking first profit, getting half off the table and getting yourself safe in the market. Shukri's got a far different version of what he's been doing than that, and he'll share that with us in the session this evening. But here's the rule now on every single trade: 30-minute H4 daily, doesn't care, doesn't matter what it is. When you hit TP1, I'll nominate a TP1, always will. And when you hit TP1, you have to take half off. Sorry, you don't have to do anything, but to follow the strategy or my system of trading, you need to take half off the table and move your stops, whatever you took at TP1 from entry, exactly the same as we're doing on the pound US dollar breakout trade at the moment. That's always been the way I've traded up until, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I suppose we decided to try and get a little bit more out of it. But the market's just not conducive to that at the moment because it's not running. you know, we're still getting the right levels, we're still getting the right entries, we're still getting the right TP1s, but we're not taking advantage of that. You know, we're not getting as much money in the bank as we need to. So reacting to market conditions is a very, very important thing to do. And I got to say, I might be a bit late on that, to be honest. And that's pretty much because I'm tied up from daylight to dawn doing other things. Daylight to dawn, isn't that the same thing? Daylight to dusk, that's the one I was looking for. So they're the current rules, guys. If you are trading and want to follow what I'm doing, then that's exactly how I'll be trading in future. Not forever. If the market changes its vitality and its way of doing things, then we go with it, and that's what you need to do as traders. So that's where we're at the moment. Now, there is a second order on this one. It's on the daily chart, and it's pretty much exactly the same trade, but just trading a different candle. So we're trading this bar here. It's the retest bar. I think this is less risky than is the 4-hour trade, but I'm spreading the risk across both of them. We'll be at TP1 well before this gets in anyway, so it'll actually be an add to the first one. Yes, take half at TP1 and move stop loss to not TP1 Sino, but I'll explain it further in a minute, right? So where our entry is below this bar at 123.28, stop loss is at 125.13, which is above all the pivots there. And TP1 is at 122.40, which is around about there somewhere, I should think. Yeah, pretty much bang on that low. Sorry, there-ish. DS3, anyway, at the end of the day. So that's that trade. Now, just to further explain that for you, Sino, the slingshot has always had this. It's never, ever been off the table. But we really do manipulate or have manipulated the 4-hour and daily charts and weekly charts if we trade them. So if your TP1 is, what is it in this case? 123.98, 123.84. So that's 14 pips. And it's a sell order. As soon as you hit TP1, you bank %, and move stop loss. That's a bit scribbly, isn't it? Sorry. 14 pips. In this case, above entry level. I find it very difficult to write with a mouse, but I don't lash out and buy Ash's writing toy. He tells me it's very expensive. So that's the rule, right? And what that does effectively is give you a free trade. Now, if TP1 in this case on the daily is what, 123.28, that is 185 pips. So if we get 185 pips in profit at TP1, TP1's 122.4. So that is actually 88 pips. If we get 88 pips in profit and hit TP1, we take off 50% and move our stop loss 88 pips above entry, which means, of course, as I say, if we get TP1 down here, hit, and price goes back to wherever 88 pips was, or whatever, however many it was, somewhere around here, then we're break even. That's the worst thing that can happen if we hit TP1. That's the conservative way to trade it. There are many other methods, and I've used most of them. But I haven't tried Shukri's, and this is going to be very, very interesting for you guys in the US session later on, if you are with us. That's the conservative way to trade it. The aggressive way to trade it, of course, is as soon as you hit TP1, bank 50% and move stop loss to entry. That's the other way to do it. That's the aggressive way to trade it. Now, I think I was looking at Paul Hutton's method of trading the daily wave rider the other day, and he's actually using that method that if you've got the trade manager, that's the aggressive way to trade the slingshot. There's two methods on the trade manager. One's conservative, which is that one. The other one is aggressive, which is that one. So that's the way it's going to be, guys, until I see a change in the market. If we start to get follow through, then I'll go back to the system that we have been trading for some time, and that's not a problem. Levels on the slingshot are good for 24 hours. Double cross Euro Yen weekly. We'll have a look at that in just a tick, aren't we? Oh, we're having a look at that. Really? That is Euro Yen. On the weekly, okay, we'll have a look at that in a tick. Did you say, all right, we'll clear that up. Biden can only raise tax after 2 years because they need to print more money and stimulus. Can they really print more money? Yeah, I'll tell you what, their inkjet must run out of ink lots, I reckon, their printer.
Well, there's a buying opportunity, mate. Who provides the ink?
There you go. It would have to be somebody who's a friend of someone in the White House, I would imagine. But who that is, I've got no idea. Interesting, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there must be a company that provides it, but I don't know.
To the mint,
don't know where that comes from.
Yeah, it's another story, isn't it? Right, double cross on the weekly. That's what we're looking at, right? Potential, yeah. I think I spoke about this, didn't I? Yeah, I did. And I couldn't decide whether that was the midweek or sorry, the changeover, or whether it from one week to the other, or whether it was actually pertinent. But if you have a close look at that, you can see a false break. The trend line or the trade line is not relevant to this time frame. And that's a bit of a worry, but let's sneak down and see if we can make it relevant. It's relevant on a daily chart, right? And we have come back inside there and we have retested that. So I know you guys like cup and handles, but you like them down at the base, don't you? I don't even know if that's a cup and a handle for you, but yeah.
It could be.
There is a case. There's definitely a case for this to go long. That is a clear slingshot signal. I think I spoke about this, didn't I? And decided that I'd prefer to go the other way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. So I think you've well justified in looking at that. It was a double cross of the monthly pivot in the first instance. Didn't get away with it though, unless you took profit very early. I don't know. We didn't trade that because I'm so bearish here. But I have got your thoughts in my head right now. Was it Crystal who said that? Yeah. I'm getting you. I'm hearing you, Crystal. But I don't think I can trade it. And the reason I can't is if I did trade that double cross, my risk is 208 pips and my potential reward, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Let me have a look at the big picture. Can I actually see the euro rallying and outperforming the yen? Can I do that? Come here, you little sod. I can't pick that up again. All right, I'll have another one. You got me thinking, Crystal. You can make a case, can't you? I can make a case for it, definitely. I'm not going to trade it, but I'm with you. I get it. And this level is key, because if you break back above that level where I've got my stop loss, right, then you're probably here, and which is a confluence area. So I'm seeing all of that. I like the way you think. Double bottom, higher low, higher high. Sorry, high high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Why not? Why not? You don't really get one-to-one till you hit that. Well, till you get beyond that level. That's probably an issue. I'm going to leave that one with you. I'm going to maintain my stance, because I think if we don't get above this level, we are going short. And I do like the fact that we've got a broken neckline and a retested neckline, broken monthly pivot, retested monthly pivot. So that's all still there. So I'm not walking away from it. And I do see potential big profits here. So, yeah, I'm sticking with it, but love the way you're thinking. That's really, really well picked up. I like it. China digital currency and other CBDC, central bank digital currency. Shukri, are we talking about that tonight? I know we're talking about my little slingshot 2, or your little slingshot 2. But I did notice that was on the agenda of Powell yesterday. Was it yesterday? Overnight yesterday? That's why he was speaking. He was speaking at a forum based on digital currencies, and I think he flatly denied that they were looking at it at the moment. But the fact that it's on the agenda is very, very interesting, in my humble opinion. So we'll probably have a chat about that, I should imagine. The pound has come back, and I would imagine taken our stop loss, 29.46. Yes, it has. Didn't last long, and that's the nature of the beast at the moment. Yep.
Break even there, mate?
Break even, mate, yeah. That is the nature of the beast, I'm afraid, at the moment. It's very, and I said this yesterday, trading the pound on small time frames, gee whiz, you've got to have big kahunas and big stop losses. And it doesn't really entice me into the market, I've got to say.
Yeah, I wonder whether this is, a trade that when things do calm down for next year.
The breakout trade?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I think historically it's been a proven thing for many, many years, and the fact that we are in the hands of Brexit talks, or whatever else is going on around the place, because it's against the US dollar and is the pound, we've got tumultuous movements in both directions. We've got the US dollar doing what it's doing, which really confounds me. And then you've got the pound subject to, all these Brexit situations day in, day out. So it is really, really tough, really tough. And I think we're doing okay to hold, just to hold our own on it, frankly.
Yeah.
I think we're busting our nuts on it, but, it is definitely something. And I agree with you, once it settles down, I think we'll be in far better shape. Because we shouldn't get this sort of thing, right? Where one day it's down. This is the piano I was talking about. One day it's down, next day it's up, exactly the same level. Then it's down, exactly the same level. Now it's up, a little bit below that level. Now what do we do now? We've gone into consolidation. It's really a crap currency to be trading at the moment. Unless, of course, you are a scalper and can manage to pick up these lows and these highs, then happy days. And I really think that's the way to trade it. Trade it as a range. but you've now got a problem because here's the top of the range, here's the bottom of the range, and now you're bang in the middle of it. So that's time to say, well, no, give up. Wait till we get to the top or the bottom. I think that's exactly the way it should be traded at the moment.
Yeah. Very, very little volatility in the market in this session, and it just suggests that trying to get into anything short term is probably not the wisest thing to do.
Yeah, look, I don't think I've taken too many 30-minute trades in the last little bit, that's for sure. There's most of my trades are on 4-hour or daily at the moment. And as I said, that's been a tough exercise as well, not so much to get in the market or hit a take profit, but to stay in the market. And I've said this for weeks, to stay in the market and actually build on that profit and scale in and, add and all the rest of it. It's just not there. So that's why I've reacted the way I've reacted. And now we're getting out of risk very, very quickly. And as I said, Shukri has kind of shaken me into that. And I should have done it weeks ago or months ago, to be fair. So thank you, Shukri, for shaking me into a little bit of action that I should have done some time ago. We'll see how that pans out. And I'm very, very interested to show the rest of you guys, if you're in the US session, Shukri's take on Slingshot 2. We'll have a good look at that. Now, I'm not saying change the way you trade the Slingshot. What I am saying is open your mind to a different management regime. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about later on. SS stands for Sino Scott. Oh, no, not Slingshot. SS Carver. Wish I had some Carver. It'd be good. It's too expensive to get here.
Get it all over the place here, mate.
Do you?
Yeah, oh yeah, everywhere.
Probably
not now. Probably Chloe's probably managed to get every single bottle that's on the shelves at the minute.
Could be. So, anything more, mate, from you?
No, just the fact, just wrapping up very, very quickly. I'm just going to check around the grounds, because this is the kind of market we got is very, very quiet, but things do look very negative. So the selling opportunity really does come into play if we can start pushing into this area. And it looks like with the FTSE that we are getting a little bit closer, so that's the area to look for the short with the FTSE. But you look right across the board, and all of these are probably going to be selling opportunities. And if we use silver as a bit of information for this, it does look like we've got a head and shoulders pattern forming here with silver, and I would suspect all of these eventually become of interest to go in the opposite direction. But if you would prefer to play the most dominant trend, if you like, the most dominant direction, then it looks to me like you could actually be waiting and get the opportunity that the market has appeared to be now promising that we're going to get. So silver looks like it's a bit weak, so that one could come down. You could play the short to go long, but it is ultimately probably a long opportunity rather than a short opportunity. But you can see a monthly pivot is again holding this the price of silver up, and it's just bounced again off that particular trend line there. So silver looks like a short, and the same.
Ooh.
You like that?
Yeah, take that back. You
like that for a long, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, silver is a long, but I just don't believe it's here. I think silver needs to come down at least into the 2150 area before I'll be interested in taking it on board. But anywhere in this zone here, and I'm really interested in buying silver up. But it does appear that we are getting that potential retracement that, as I say, we've just been after. Somewhere in that zone I'm a buyer. Now it just depends on.
Yeah, I agree. It's the wrong place for that little pattern I can see as well.
It may well be. I mean, you've got the 50% retracement down here at 2050. Then we go right the way back to 61% at 1830, which you could get back there. So silver, I think, is showing us maybe the way that we could well be looking at a short in silver, a short in equities, a short in gold as well. Another one that I want to pick up for the long side. And as I say, it looks like that opportunity is coming. So let's just see if we get triggered into this FTSE trade. Just got to come into this place here. Actually, not too far away now, is it? I'm definitely going to take the short on there. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. It's got about another 10 pips to go. Make sure the order's in. 92, so it gets to 92, 94. I'm going to put it at 59.01. And if it gets triggered, my stop loss is going to go up here. I'm going to drag it up there manually. If it gets triggered, I've got the ability to watch that, but if you want to put it in, it's going to be at 59.60. So there is an order now on the FTSE with that one, mates.
Right, bud. We won't be back to manage. Well, you won't be back to manage that. So if you could flick us, if it needs managing, if you could flick us through a message on.
I will indeed. Yes, I will. I'll text.
That'd be great.
No problem, mate. I will Skype you later on. We got no problem at all.
Happy days. All right, mate. You might finish with a bang for this part of the week, and we'll hopefully welcome you back on Thursday with another bang.
Great stuff, mate. Okay, fantastic. Have a great rest of the day, guys. So I just realised I was off camera there, but just a slip there. But yeah, have a great rest of the day and enjoy the session with Shukri and Jeff later on and tomorrow. And I'll see you back on Thursday and we'll see how this one went.
Right, bud. Have a good break. And everyone else who is not in the US session, or you've got half an hour in the previous session anyway, if you can join in for that, that'd be great. It's not Wednesday, so Shukri's only in my show later on, or in our show later on. And as I say, we'll be having a good in-depth look at his management regime on the slingshot. And of course, we will get into the US session and try and find a trade or some money to put in the bank as well. Have a good one, Ash. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.